Hey everybody, I'm Drew, and this is Drewin Around. Thanks for watching. Does your GE dishwasher make this sound? Well, if it does, it's possibly an 815 error. So what I'm going to show you guys today is how to diagnose and fix that error so that you can wash your dishes. Let's get to work.
The 815 error basically means that the control board does not recognize the door being open or shut. When you go to start a cycle, the system beeps 3 times and does not start the cycle. To confirm that this is the 815 error, we will first put the unit into error mode by pressing and holding the select cycle and start buttons simultaneously for 5 seconds. "815" will appear on the display with all LEDs flashing. Next, let's do a hard reset on the board, keeping in mind that this may temporarily allow the dishwasher to function correctly. However, the error is likely to come back. First, enter error mode by pressing and holding the select cycle and start buttons simultaneously for 5 seconds. Once all LEDs have stopped flashing, enter service mode by pressing and holding the select cycle for 5 seconds. Once you see the LED flashing by the normal cycle LED, we can exit both modes by quickly pressing select cycle and start buttons simultaneously. Now, let's cut the power to the unit for approximately 5 to 10 minutes by shutting off the breaker. Keep in mind that this hard reset may allow the unit to act normal for the next couple of cycles. If the error comes back immediately or within the next couple of cycles, it's time to replace your control board.
Alright guys, so there's only really a couple things that you need in order to complete this repair. One is obviously the replacement part. So this is the control board. I was able to jump on Google, type in the model number and parts diagram, and then was able to come up with the part number that I needed. Ordered online, shipped to the house via FedEx. It's like 104 bucks. Outside of the actual replacement part that I needed, I'm going to need some needle nose pliers. We're going to need a 1/4-inch nut driver and then a 5/16 inch nut driver. And that's just to remove the cages and everything to get at this thing. So let's jump over to the unit and go ahead and I'll show you guys how to remove it, and then we'll swap it out and replace it and get this thing working again.
In order to access the control board, we must first remove the front access cover to the unit. We do this by using a 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the 2 screws. Please keep in mind that before you go any further, make sure the electricity of the unit is off. If you do not feel comfortable completing any of these steps, please hire a licensed appliance repair person. After you remove the 2 screws, slide the front access cover out of the way. Next, remove the electrical service access cover with a 5/16 inch nut driver. Now we will remove the 2 brass screws in order to drop the control box down. But first, it's always a best practice to remove your electrical connections here and here before removing the screws. Once we remove the two brass colored screws, the control box and control board should drop down fairly easy. Once you drop the control box down, slide it out of the way so that you can see the remaining 3 electrical connections to the board. We will need to remove these one by one.
Alright, so now that we've removed the control box, which is this metal piece here, you have the control board inside of it. So basically what we're going to do is we got to take this out and we're going to swap it with that one. Now in order to do that, first thing you got to do is there's a screw right here. That's a 1/4 inch nut driver. So we're going to unscrew that. Alright, so that's out. Now if you'll notice, there's actually some plastic little studs here that kind of snaps in, and if you can see, there's like a piece on the side that they just snap in. So what you have to do is you have to actually push that in as you're pulling it out, and you don't want to snap these off, because if you snap these off, they're a little bit hard to find replacements for. But at any rate, basically all you're going to do is take some needle nose pliers, pop that little tab in, and then as you do that, you kind of pull up on the board. Alright, and then once you have those all out, then you just pop this out. And that's the board that's bad. And here's your replacement board. So now with the replacement board, we just do that in the reverse. So now we take the replacement board and we're going to put that in. You got to kind of push it around this little dip right there. So you just kind of go in at an angle. And then you got to make sure you get the power in through that slot there. And once you got that, just line them all up. Start pushing them down. It just snaps in like that. We replace that screw. And now this is ready to go back into the unit.
Now that we've replaced the control board onto the control box, we can reverse all the steps that we did to take it off to reinstall it. First, you're going to want to plug in the 3 connections that you unconnected, and very carefully make sure that you don't pinch any of those wires between the control box and the metal frame. Once you get the control box realigned, take the 2 brass colored screws and reattach. Next, make the final 2 electrical connections to the bottom of the board. And then we're going to replace the electrical service access cover. Once that is back on, then we can again do the front access cover plate. Screw that back, the 2 screws for that. Now we can turn the breaker back on and test the unit to see if it is functioning properly. We know it is functioning properly when, after we select the cycle, hit start and close the door, the orange light comes on and the cycle runs. Thank you guys so much for watching.